Okay, in part one, we talked about the gap that exists with Khadlaj, a house that's been building serious fragrance for 29 years, and yet it's not getting the attention I believe it deserves. In part two, we talked about who built it, what their vision was, and why it can be difficult to put this perfume house in a box. And in part three, we will explore four bottles. And before the bottles, a quick note on what's not here. In episode one of ASF, I talked about Khadlaj's Empire Regent. It's already on record, so I don't want to repeat that. And in episode three, I talked about Khadlaj's Empire Empress. It's already on record how I feel about those two. So we are going to look at four completely different bottles. What I actually experience when I wear these four different versions of Khadlaj. Let's go. This is Arabian Scent Files, the only fragrance series that treats Middle Eastern perfumery as a subject worth studying, not just a place to find cheap alternatives. Every episode goes deeper than the bottle. I'm Zoba. Let's get into it. First bottle we'll talk about is Cream Velvet. I addressed Cream Velvet in episode one. It's the fragrance that introduced Khadlaj to me. I don't want to rehash the story, but I want to go straight into how I experienced it. It opens clean and buttery. There's no harsh note, no synthetic edge. You just get the warmth, and as it dries down, it gets a little sweeter. It settles close to the skin. It doesn't project loudly. It stays in the room. It makes you feel cozy and comfortable. Longevity on skin is moderate, and on clothes, it lasts significantly longer, sometimes days. So, but it's the kind of fragrance that still finds you at the end of the day. It's either on your clothes or on your skin, but it's always present. And again, yes, it smells similar to Lattafa's Eclair. The scent profiles are in the same family. And if you smell both of them side by side, it's easy to see how they are similar. But there is a softness that Cream Velvet has that Eclair doesn't quite have. They are similar but distinct enough that if you own both, it wouldn't necessarily be redundant. But try it. You need to try it for yourself and try both of them. They are both beautifully affordable. You can actually get both and decide which you prefer. Am I wearing Cream Velvet right now? It's currently summer, and most of my gourmands are kind of sitting in favor of florals and other types of fragrances. But when the temperature cools down, my gourmands are coming right back out, and Cream Velvet does have a rotation at least until it is finished, because it is a one and done for me. As much as I love it, it's a one and done. And why it's a one and done is I have so many fragrances that are in the same scent profile. I don't, because I'm being so deliberate with my fragrance wardrobe, I am trying to avoid buying and owning the same scent profile over and over and over again. That being said, Cream Velvet has in this spot, I will use it. Like when I have perfumes I don't like, I know I will not wear, even if I like them at first, but I know I just want to wear them, I will do one of three things. I will either donate them, or I will sell them, or frankly, there are a couple I will just throw away because they're just that horrible. But this one I'm keeping. I'm gonna use it to the end, but I probably won't buy it again. My challenge, if you own Lattafa's Eclair, go try Cream Velvet side by side. If you own Cream Velvet, go get Eclair and try it side by side, and come back and tell me if you hear, see, or smell the similarity, and then tell me which one your skin prefers. Bottle 2, Empire Victor. Now that one was a surprise bottle. Smells like a fluffy lemon vanilla cake. Beautiful. When I got it, the reviews were mixed on longevity and projection. Most of the reviews were like projection next to nothing. So that was what I was expecting. I love the opening, that lemon and bergamot opening that I think is a signature of the Empire collection from Khadlaj, because Regent opens the same way and Empress opens the same way. I feeling there's a fourth one I tried in the line that opens the same way as well with just bergamot in the opening, but with Victor it's lemon, identifiably lemon and bergamot. As soon as it starts to settle, it just is light. Where Empire Regent is really dense and heavy, Empire Victor is light and fluffy. You get a caramel, you get a jasmine, you get a lemon, which doesn't disappear after the opening. It stays throughout the longevity or the life of the perfume, but it smells so divine. It's a gourmand that wears like a fresh fragrance with sweetness underneath. It's not a sweetness, it's not a sweet fragrance with citrus on top. The projection is controlled, definitely settles closer to skin. The longevity is moderate, and I would wear it, and I wear it spring in the summer, in the fall, in the winter, in the daytime, in the evening. It just depends on the mood I want to create or what I'm in the mood for. But where a heavier gourmand would be too much, Empire Victor would be excellent. Now I keep mentioning my surprise about the projection because maybe the third or fourth time I tried it on, I wore it on a day when just I'm feeling light and fluffy and decided to go run some errands. So I walked into the pharmacy, and at the time I walked into the pharmacy, I wasn't even sure I could smell it on me. Like I wasn't sure if even I could pick up the fragrance. When I got to the counter, the cashier leaned over and said, "Oh, you smell so good. What scent did you spray today?" It's one of only two times when someone has complimented me on my fragrance. And I was really, really surprised that Empire Victor was it. That's really surprised me. Somehow it projected enough that somebody was picking it up, even if I wasn't picking it up. So when I wasn't sure it was still working, it was still moving in the space around me, and I didn't even know it. Does it have a permanent wardrobe slot? Yes, for me. Verdict, I will buy without hesitation. So when it's done, that's a command I will definitely buy again. My challenge for you is, if you haven't bought Empire Victor, buy it. Wear it somewhere you'll be around people, and don't tell anyone what you are wearing. And come back and tell me in the comments whether anyone noticed before you did. Also, have you had or worn any fragrances you were certain nobody would notice on you, but unexpectedly you got a compliment or a comment about what you were wearing? I would definitely love to know the name of the fragrance and what the occasion was where you were. For the three, Khadlaj's Caffe Latte. I reach for this fragrance when I'm feeling bold and adventurous, but I also want to feel cozy and girly at the same time. Caffe Latte is the fragrance I reach for when I want to feel the denseness and the heaviness of a real gourmand, but I also want to feel edible instead of just sweet. That's Caffe Latte. The opening is syrupy, it's almondy, it's coffee. I mean, coffee is there, it's doing the background work, but it's the coffee is there to lend depth and a slightly bitter edge that keeps everything from just being too sweet. But that almond, oh, that smells decadent. It smells so good. That is the real star. It's rich, it's slightly intoxicating, it's warm, it reads like amaretto in a coffee shop rather than a straightforward cup of coffee. What's absent is the sharp praline bursts you get from La Tava's Eclair, where Eclair announces itself with an edgy sweetness. I would say Cafe Latte arrives smoother and fuller with more depth from the first spray. As it develops, you start getting something ice creamy and amber. Feels like warm caramel poured over almond milk. It's sweet, but it's not sharp. It's rich, but it's not heavy. And again, the coffee is still doing its thing in the background. And the dry down is immaculate. When the vanilla kicks in full force, ooh, it's beautiful. It's lasts forever on clothes. On skin, it's moderate to long. It's great because of the syrupy, boozy nature of it. It's great in the fall and the winter because the density needs cooler air to perform at its best. Especially winter when it's cold outside and you just want to feel cozy. This is it's just a beautiful fragrance. There is there is a specific version of a day for me that calls for cafe latte. When I want to be bold enough to mean business, but I want to be cozy enough to feel like myself. So for me, cafe latte is not for a casual day, but not exactly for a dressed up day. It's a day when I'm more about the mood than about what I'm wearing or where I'm going. That's when cafe latte comes off the shelf. Verdict: would I rebuy? Yes. Yes, 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 without reservation. My question for you is: would you want to smell like an amaretto or a latte? Or just a straightforward cup of coffee? Tell me in the comments. Bottle 4, the most popular of Khadlaj's fragrance, Hareem Al Sultan Gold. Sold 10 plus million bottles. Uh, broke expectations, broke every expectation I brought to it. So the opening is bergamot and nutmeg. It's warm, it's spiced, it's immediately appealing. Definitely has some citrus in it, something floral. It's soft and deep, and the spiciness stays. But what surprised me about this one is the notes say it's supposed to have oud in it, but it didn't show up in my skin. I mean, not in any way identifiable. The base has amber and musk, and you get that. You definitely get a quiet warmth that stays close and doesn't project, but it's not as dense and as heavy as most Middle Eastern perfumes. Like it's the oil-based nature of it and the spiciness in it. Like you definitely get the Middle Eastern perfume vibes from it. The way it settles, like just the Gulf tradition is there, the saffron and so on. But there is no oud, which is interesting because up until that point, up until Hareem Al Sultan Gold, my experience of and my expectation of Middle Eastern perfume was that they always had oud in it. But this one didn't. This one is light but still distinctly Middle Eastern in its nature. The one honest limitation is the longevity. It's moderate. For me, it's about 5 to 6 hours. Now I have worn it in a combo that is actually delicious. Combo that I actually love. I think when combining it with something, it lasts a bit longer, but it's on its own, 5 to 6 hours. Again, that's for me. It could last much longer on someone else's skin. Remembering that, as with anything fragrance related, longevity can be subjective as well. But for me, that's the honest limitation. For a fragrance this comfortable and this forgiving, like I can overspray it because of how light it is. A touch up on a full day, a day when I have like 10 to 12-hour days, kind of the trade-off for the lightness. So because of how light it is the perfume bottle I reach for when I want Middle Eastern perfumery without the density or the intensity of oud. When I want something that's Middle Eastern in its in tradition, but I don't want to have to think about the weather. Is it too warm? Is it too cold? I don't want to have to overthink it or think twice about it because of how light it is. You can wear it in the cold, in the warm weather. You can wear it in the day, in the night, in just about any season. It's also the bottle I would hand to someone who's never tried Middle Eastern fragrance, or someone who's curious about Middle Eastern fragrance but not ready for oud yet, because I think that's a very great door into exploring Middle Eastern perfumery. So will I rebuy it? I don't know yet. It's still too new for me to be able to say yes or no. Or I'll buy it or I won't buy it. I don't know yet. I do know I like it. So far, I'm sitting with it. There are quite a few fragrances where I don't make rebuy decisions on right away. It's a rule with me for fragrances. There are some where it's an immediate yes. There are some where it's a absolutely not. There are some, most of them I have to wait until I'm halfway through the bottle before I make the call. Um, that's because that's the point I know whether I'm actually reaching for it because I like it, or just because it's a habit, or just because I want to finish it. So I'll say Hareem Al Sultan Gold has earned the halfway point conversation. Essentially, what I'm saying is ask me again then. When my bottle is at its half, ask me again then. What I can tell you right now is, if you've been curious about Middle Eastern fragrance and don't know where to start, Hareem Al Sultan Gold is a great starting point. The warmth is there, the spice is there, the intimacy of the tradition is there. It just arrives without the ingredient oud that you've been told has to be a requirement in Middle Eastern perfumery. So my challenge is, if you've never tried Middle Eastern fragrance, or if you've wanted to try but you know where to begin, try Hareem Al Sultan Gold first and tell me in the comments, did it change how you think about the category? So at the end of all of the parts of episode 4, here is where I land. 3 of the 4 bottles earned a place in my rotation without me even fighting for it, and the 4th one I'm still deciding on, which is its own kind of answer. But what gets me after wearing all 4 of them is that I went into every single one of those bottles with an expectation and came out with something else. Cream Velvet wasn't supposed to be smooth without a harsh opening. Victor wasn't supposed to still be on me at the pharmacy. Caffe Latte wasn't supposed to make me reach for my own wrists like that. And Hareem Al Sultan Gold definitely wasn't supposed to skip the oud, like it's not showing up on my skin. So I've experienced 4 bottles and gotten 4 surprises from the same perfume house, Khadlaj. A perfume house doesn't surprise you in the same direction 4 separate times by accident. And so, something again to remember. A quick recap of Khadlaj. 29 years so far, 80 countries, 10 plus million bottles of one fragrance alone. And still nobody is talking about them as much as I think they should. That's the part I still can't get past it. And I will dived into, done a deep dive into Khadlaj. I still can't get past it. But that's Khadlaj. Up next, in our next episode, we're going to take a look at a fragrance ingredient that has been doing strange things since I started researching and planning for Arabian scent files. In Opulent Oud, I talked about rose, how I loved the way the rose and the oud played together. I think in episode 1 as well, or maybe episode 2, I talked about amethyst. That has rose, and rose was the star of the show, and I hated it. I could not get past it. It's one of those ones I sprayed it once and packaged it, and I called my family. I was like, who wants it? Come and take it. If not, I'm just no. But I also have a bottle that hasn't come up in this series yet. Amirat Al Arab Privé Rose. It's a powdery rose that I find I can actually manage, but only when it's layered with something else. I say all this because I have spent years knowing and telling people that I don't like rose in fragrance. Period. And the more Middle Eastern perfumery I walk through, I keep encountering rose, and the answer is not as straightforward as I just hate it. Because I have a fragrance where I love it in partnership with something, and I have a fragrance where I hate it in the spotlight, but I have a fragrance where I kind of tolerate it. So I'm all over the place with rose the more I dive into Middle Eastern perfumery, which is why in the next episode, we're going to explore rose the same way we explored oud. And let's figure out what's going on with me and with rose. Let's see where I land at the end of the episode. So that will be episode 5. I will see you there.